Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games and the first video in the new Warcry campaign for the Beasts of Chaos. I'm Lee, and in this video I'll be taking you through the Warband roster for the Beasts of Chaos Warband that are embarking on the campaign. We'll look at the leader and the fighters and just go through a little bit of the background about the Warband and a little bit of background for each of the fighters too. I'll also show you the steps you need to take to embark on a campaign, and you can see it all unfolding in real time as I get my Beasts of Chaos ready for battle. Led by their psychedelic prophet Faulkner, the Chosen are a war herd from the GruffHorn clan who believe it's their destiny to rid the world of order. With a putrid hate for society and civilisations of any kind, the Chosen's dream of a land descended into anarchy, where the only structure lies with the hierarchy of the herd and loyalty to the Great Bray Shaman prophets. Faulkner's prophecies are fueled by a gorging ritual where vast quantities of psychedelic mushrooms are consumed in a bitter brew of blood and herbs. In one particular vision, Faulkner saw the destruction of his enemies and a land ruled by the herd. Standing high above the plains on a sacred stone, Faulkner saw himself holding aloft the blade of the Stonefire Curse. With this weapon, the Chosen could fulfill this prophecy and lead their clan to domination. The herd have assembled and are ready to embark on their great quest to seek out this fabled artifact. Nothing and no one will stop the Chosen. So now we've had the introduction to the Chosen, we're going to take a look at all the different miniatures, the cards, the books, and the Warband roster and everything we need to do to get this campaign underway. So once we've got the background laid out for our Warband, it's time to look at the Warband roster, and on here you can see on page 160 of the Warcry core rules book you're going to get a copy of the Warband roster, and you can photocopy this and print it off, and you can find PDFs easily online as well, so you can get those and print those off too. I don't have a printer at the moment, so I've literally just drawn it out on a sheet of paper, and I've also added a few extra lines here so that I can get a few more fighters on the list. So we can have a maximum of 20 fighters, so if you print this off you're not going to have that much space, but there is another form that you can get which gives you loads more of this section here, so you can add more fighters or just print off another copy of this and only use the bottom section. Right, so we've gone through the background for the Warband. They're called the Chosen, and they're from their origin, they're from the GruffHorn clan, which are the Beasts of Chaos, and I'm the player, so I'm Lee, and the campaign quest we're going to be embarking on with the Beasts of Chaos is called Fit for a King, and you can find this in the Agents of Chaos supplement book. For this first battle in the campaign, we're not going to have to worry about glory points or dominated territory, and on the campaign progress tracker here, we're going to start here, and so this is going to be our first place, and then once we finish this battle, we're going to start progressing along the progress tracker. And then for the rest of the section, we're also going to ignore artifacts, destiny levels for our leader, and also the command traits, and then we're going to ignore artifacts and destiny levels for all our fighters as well, because we're not going to have any of those in this first battle. Alright, so I've laid out my leader, who's Faulkner, and then the names of all my different fighters and the types, and I've just put a little note next to them of how much points each are worth, and if it's a proxy miniature I'm using, I just put a little P in a circle just to remind me that that's the case. But now you can see how easy it is to fill out the Warband roster and get going. Let's have a look at each of the fighters and we can talk a little bit about their backgrounds. So I'm using the Agents of Chaos Warcry supplement book a lot here, and this has got the section all on the Beasts of Chaos, so we can find out all the fighter cards for the leaders and the regular fighters, all laid out here for the different ones available. And then on this side we've got the leader abilities and the fighter ability, so we can get all that information there if we need to. But I've got the fighter cards, so I'll be using those, and there are some models that don't have the fighter cards included in the Beasts of Chaos card pack, so I will be using the stats and information from the book to put together some custom made cards. I've done a separate video already about how to name your warband and all your fighters and give them a background, but you can see on page 84 here there's a whole section for the Beasts of Chaos, and this will kind of give you little prompts you need. And so if you don't want to go into too much depth, I think this is a good way to go. But yeah, I used some different ways of naming mine. I didn't really use this, and for the background I just used it as like some prompts and ideas, and then created something completely of its own, and so, but this is a great tool to have if you need it. Okay, so here's our first fighter, and this is going to be our leader, and this is the Great Bray Shaman I've called Faulkner. And what I've done is I've just put a little bit of electrical tape underneath each miniature and written their name on it, just so I can kind of remember who they are. Ignore this card, I've just made up my own card from the stats in the book. I really need to get a printer to do it nicely, but at least this saves me using the book when I'm playing the game, so this is going to speed things up a bit. So we'll ignore this card and pretend that looks a lot better than it really does. But here's Faulkner, and he's the psychedelic prophet, who's a fierce warrior who likes to lead from the front, and his shamanistic abilities are drawn in power from the spirits of his ancients, and that allows him to pull his enemies into the fray with some kind of magical powers. So this is really cool. This is our leader, and he really likes to get stuck in. So this is heading up the warband, and that's the main guy. But now let's have a look at the other fighters. And here you can see they're all laid out, ready to go. They've got the proper cards. And what I've done is I've got a lineup of fighters that I'm going to include in the roster and in the battle that we're going to go through today. And that video will be up soon as well. And then I've got a couple at the back here who haven't got their war paint on yet. So they're going to be waiting to get painted real soon. But let's go through the ones that are ready, and then you can see who's going to be taking part in the battle today. So this guy is called Holiday, and he's a Gore with blade and shield. The miniature is a Bestigore, but I'm using him as a proxy so that I can use this fighter card and get a nice variety in the warband. And Holiday is fascinated by the blue moon and constantly searching for new, strange fruits to eat. So that's a little bit about him, and we'll see how those little traits play out as we get stuck into the battles. Now we've got our two Bestigores. We've got Vincent here, Vincent Van Gogh, and we've got Strayhorn. And Strayhorn gives a rallying call that spurs on the herd, and he's renowned for his improvisations with tunes depending on the enemies that he faces. And then we've got Vincent here, a true artist with his axe blade. Lynn likes to splatter blood in all directions using the battlefield as his canvas. So that's going to be our two main Bestigores. We've also got this guy. I need to touch up his banner. It's got a little bit messy there. And this one is called Sunday, and he's an evangelist with a great swing. He's a stickler for tradition, keeps records of all the achievements of the war herd, and likes to spread the word of the herd. So that's the three main Bestigores that are featuring in the roster, but Sunday's not going to be in this first battle. Then we've got two Ungors with blades and shields, and the first one is Thornton. That's this guy here, and he's got like a mace, but it's still going to count for these stats. And then I've got this other one, Gates, who can be used as either an Ungor with blade and shield, or we can use him as this half horn if we want to. But in this battle, he's going to be featuring as a regular Ungor with blade and shield, and if he does well in the battle, maybe he'll get promoted. And a little bit of background on Thornton. He dreams of Armageddon and longs for the day when the herd dominate a fallen world. And then we've got Gates, and Gates has got his eye on leadership of the whole herd, and he's most obsessed with world domination and is determined to use any means to get it, and he's certainly not to be trusted, so look out for Gates. Then we've got three Ungor raiders, and these are Shatner, Zane and Beringer, and they've got all different backgrounds to them. We've also got another Ungor raider that we can also use as a half horn, and so we've got an option there. He's going to be sitting this battle out, but he's called Burr. And so background on these, Burr likes to insult the enemy with some observational truths, and he can lead the team of raiders with his tactical expertise. But he'll be sitting this battle out for the first battle of the campaign. Then we've got this guy over here, Shatner, always looking up. He's obsessed with the stars, which can easily distract him at the worst moments. Then we've got Zane here, a wannabe sharpshooter whose stories often leave others thinking he exaggerates his accomplishments a little too much. And then finally, we've got Beringer. He's the real deal, a tested warrior who's seen many battles, and his skill and accuracy is unrivaled within the herd. Then we've got our two Ungors with spears and shields, and the first one is Weatherford and Murray. And Murray is actually afraid of ghosts, and he's determined to honour the spirits of his ancients so that they'll protect him from any ghouls he might encounter during his battles. And Weatherford's probably got the worst story of all. He suffered a horrendous injury at the hands of the savage Oryx who castrated him in a humiliating gesture, and he lives to see the greenskins suffer, collecting trophies of his own whenever he can. And this is going to be a running story as we play through different campaigns, and this is one of the savage orcs here that's collected that trophy from him and taunts him at every occasion possible, and so Weatherford's determined to exact some revenge on these orcs for humiliating him. That then leaves us with Cyrus, and he's a Gore with pair of blades, and then we've got this guy here, Sherman. He's our Bulgor, the real tank of the whole warband, and he's going to do some serious damage once he gets his war paint on and joins the warband in later battles. And with Sherman, this powerful Bulgor has been bred to charge into battle and protect the weaker fighters, making way for them to advance through his cleared path and then pick off the enemy. And with Cyrus, that's this one, he uses his blades to hack out the hearts of his fallen enemies to devour them in a very private post-battle ritual. So that's the lineup, the warband roster so far. Still got room to add a few fighters as we need to, and we're surely going to lose some along the way that will need to be replaced too. And as well as our fighter cards, we're also going to be using these ability cards. So we've got the universal abilities, and then we've also got the Beasts of Chaos ability card. And these are the same abilities that you'll find in that Agents of Chaos supplement book. So now we've gone through the roster, we've got all our fighters ready to go, we've got the cards and abilities. It's time to look at the actual campaign that we'll be embarking on, and this one is Fit for a King that you can find on page 98 of the Warcry supplement book for the Agents of Chaos. And this is going to be the whole campaign that we're going to embark on. This is going to take us through 10 battles over the next few weeks, so there's going to be lots of action coming your way, and you'll be able to see the Beasts of Chaos develop as they cross the lands in search of this fabled artifact that's going to give them that power for world domination. So now we're all ready to go. So after this video, I'm going to get straight into the battle, and I'll film the battle report. So that's going to be up straight after this video today as well. So you'll be able to watch that. And this is the battlefield getting ready. And so come back soon and you'll be able to watch the whole battle. But if you're watching this in the future, it'll already be uploaded, and I really hope you enjoy it. Thanks for joining me for this first video in the Beasts of Chaos Warcry campaign, and I hope you enjoyed meeting all the fighters and learning about the Warcry warband and everyone who's going to be taking part in the battles to come. But thanks so much for watching. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. If you like this kind of content and would like to support the channel, then please check out my Patreon page, and thanks to everyone who's joined so far. It's really awesome. We hang out on Discord, talk about the hobby, share ideas and help each other out, and you'll get some perks there that you're not going to find anywhere else. So I'll put a link in the description, and it'd be great to see you there.